So they said, okay, I'll buy it. Within 2 days, they ensure that they break it. Or they lose it. Because it was not their choice. Then now they want to go and buy clothes. Now they go with the mother. They go there, they look at fancy, colorful clothes, and the mother says, no, that doesn't suit you. This is better for you. No, I don't like it. No, yeah, that suits you. And then eventually, they have to give in. And as a result, they lack confidence in themselves. They keep on relying on a father or a mother to make decisions. All the way to their adulthood. Which means that when they go through that transitional period, and biologically, physiologically, emotionally, and mentally, they are going through a change, then they will begin to be influenced by other people, because now they rely on other people to make decisions for them. And when they go out, the first thing that happens to them, when they are with their friends, with their peers, or with the media, the first thing other people do that you as a parent has failed to do, they get valued by their friends, by their peers. They say, wow, you look cool, man. Really? Yeah, wow, look at you there. And that immediately raises their self-esteem in front of their peers. When they come home, what do they hear? They hear the opposite. Girls is the same thing. I always say, in their house, if a father fails to provide the affection for his daughters, they're going to seek it outside. Because usually men at home, they appear to be blind, deaf, and dumb. You hear that? I say, yes! And when they go out, what do they hear? Wow, you look fine, you look elegant, you look beautiful, you look all of these things. And suddenly they hear though the self-esteem goes up outside at home. When it comes at home, it has to be quenched, it has to be suppressed, and as a result, you know what? Where do they enjoy being the most? With their peers and outside. Self-esteem is important. The Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, says 1,400 years plus. He said, "Anzilu nasa manazilahum." Anzilu nasa manazilahum. Give everybody their due, deserved position. Everybody is worth something. And how do you demonstrate to the person that you appreciate them? You have to do 3 things to them. Number 1, accept them as they are. Accept them as they are. Your duty is not to change anybody. Nobody has the authority to go and change somebody. The Prophet of Islam himself was told by Almighty Allah that you have no authority to change people. وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَآمَنَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كُلُّهُمْ جَمِيعًا أَفَأَنْتَ تُكْرِهُ النَّاسَ حَتَّى يَكُونُوا مُؤْمِنِينَ. If your Lord has willed, He would have transformed everybody into believers. You then forcefully coerce people to become believers. إِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ. Your duty is to deliver the message. Your duty as parents is to guide, to support your children to become adults. So one thing is that accept them as they are. Number 2, find some goodness in them. Find some goodness in them. To find some goodness in them is for you to shift the focus from focusing on problems to focusing on solutions. From focusing on what is wrong to focusing on what is right. Typical modus operandi at home, every time you do something wrong, we will tell you you've done something wrong. We'll counsel you, we'll coach you, we'll tell you, we'll give you a piece of advice. The modus operandi that we are promoting and advocating for is catch me doing something right. As an example, imagine a kid comes home with the score card. All A's except one is got a red circle. What's typically the conversation between a parent and a kid? How does it start?
They highlight the red one.
We focus on the red. How come you got this on the red? We thought you were clever. What happened to you? So we focus on the mistake. 5 A's, 1 E, we focus on the 1 E. At school, when does a student get to see the principal? When there's a problem. At work, when does an employee get to see the big manager? Or when does the manager call the employee? Same thing. When I go home and tell my children, I want to have a conversation with you, what's the first thing they think of?
I have done something wrong.
I have done something wrong. Even worse, when you look at the mirror in the morning, what are you searching for? Mistakes, flaws. You're searching for flaws. You see a white hair, shock of your life, you find a way to make it disappear, you have a spot somewhere, you don't like it, you search for mistakes. So typically as human beings, I don't know why, we tend to love searching for mistakes. What we are advocating is search for what is right. We are told that Jesus, peace be upon him, when he was walking with his disciples, he passed upon a dead goat, a dead sheep. The disciples said, what a stinky smell, a rotten smell is coming from this carcass. Jesus, peace be upon him, said, Ma abyadu asnana, what wonderful white teeth does this carcass has. He searched for something right and he promoted it. I recommend as parents you go and buy a book called Whale Done. Whale Done. Whale is a big fish. Whale Done. It sounds like well done. By Ken Blanchard. The gist of the story is this. It's a small booklet. A person who was successful in his career, really going places, being promoted, becoming successful. The more he went up the ladders, the lesser he saw of his family, because he had more responsibilities. And somehow the communication gap between him and his family began to grow. When he would go home, the wife would be complaining, children would be complaining, you're not spending time with us, you don't care, you don't this, now you're too busy with your work, blah, blah, blah. And then he would try to say, look, I'm doing all of this for you, etc. I'm really working hard so I can give you a nice, comfortable living, etc. And every day, every week, they would have a fight, a quarrel at home. So realizing he's about to break his marriage, he decided to take time out. And they went on a holiday, a family holiday. Part of the family holiday was to go and visit an aquarium. And then they had one of these shows where the dolphins and the big whales would make all these acrobat movements. As he was sitting with his family observing this fish jumping, he said, look, this is unnatural to the fish to make all these movements. The trainer was able to communicate with the fish when they don't speak the same language. How did he succeed to convince the fish to do what he wants when I speak the same language as my family and you can't seem to communicate? There's something fundamentally wrong. Now I need to know the trick. So after the show, he approaches the trainer and he says, can you tell me, what's the secret? This is my situation. And here you are communicating with the fish, and you are able to make the fish do these movements immaculately. What's the secret? He says the secret is very simple. You want to know the secret? Please go and buy the book. Okay, since I don't have shares on the book, I'll tell you. The trainer says, it's very simple. When we catch these big fish from the ocean and we bring them here in the aquarium, in the pool, every time the fish does something we like, we reward. Every time it does something we don't like, we turn a blind eye, as if we haven't seen. And the fish begins to learn the only way to attract attention is to do something these people like. and then begin to build steps, movements, till we perfect it to the point. My suggestion to you is this. So the gist of the book is catch me doing something right. At home, when your children do something wrong, pretend you haven't seen, because they are saying, hey, I'm here. Whenever they do something right, pay attention, say, I have noticed you. I have noticed you. I have noticed you. It may appear to be difficult in the beginning. And the question is, you choose. The minute you make the game and they realize when I do something right, I get attention, when I do something wrong, nobody pays attention, eventually they begin to want to do the things you want rather than the things you don't want. Because that is where you're paying attention. Please remember this statement. Subordinates respect what the boss inspects. At home we say, children respect what the parents inspect. What you inspect, they give you more. What pleases my boss fascinates me. So by you paying attention to the right things, they'll give you more. Just now, 12 minutes ago, my son sent me a message. I'm going to read it to you. It's in Arabic. He says, my marks out of 30. Social studies 23. Physics 30. Sports 90 out of 100. English 28. Islamic studies 29. Chemistry 29. Social skills, you get a 91 out of 100. Mathematics 27. Arabic 28. I didn't ask him to send me this, but he knows I only want good news. What does he give me? He gives me good news. And then I respond immediately to him. ما شاء الله هكذا عاهدتك متفوقا ومتميزا. بارك الله فيك وإلى الأمام دوما إن شاء الله. I haven't met him. What do you think his self-esteem is right now? Proud of himself. When I go home, I can guarantee you he wants to come and say Salaam Alaikum to me. And he's going to show me his big smile because he'll be waiting for more praises from me. Yeah. That's the secret. Focus on what is right and then see it. Is the message clear? So that's the first thing as human beings we seek. Value me. Value me. How do you value me? Number 2. Every single morning, we all wake up and we all tune in to one famous radio station. It's the most famous radio station in the world. And it's called WIIFM. Have you heard of the station? Hello, good morning. This is WIIFM coming to you live. You haven't heard of it? It's called What's in It For Me. What's in it for me? There is no free lunch. Everything we do, we want something in return. What we want in return could be tangible or it can be intangible. Could be physical or it could be moral. But we want something in return. So whenever someone does a movement, whenever someone does a gesture, they want something in return. Whenever they serve you, they help you, they support you, they listen to you, they talk to you, whatever it is, they want something in return. Do you know what your children want? What's in it for them? What's in it for them to obey you and to meet your way? What's in it for them to work really hard in studies? What's in it for them to become good citizens? What's in it for them to subscribe to your values? What's in it for them? You need to understand that. And the best way to understand it is to have a dialogue with them. In that dialogue, how can you persuade them? How can you convince them that what you have is better than what they think? Very simple. You need to dance around identity. The first thing you always do with an identity, you praise the identity, you talk about the identity of what we call this the self-ideal. them as if they are already there. Talk to them as if they are champions. Talk to them as if they are already successful. Talk to them as if they are already there. And then tell them, this is my expectation of you and I know you are there. Thereafter, everything else you do, they will go with it because now they have a clear identity. Our youth today have no identity. They have a lost identity. They don't know who to follow. Some of you have said that. Who is the role model to them? Is it the media? Is it the social media? Is it the superstars? Is it the football stars? Is it the singers? Is it the actors? Is it you? Is it the teacher? Who is the role model? And on what basis? Observe the way the media plays, the advertising media, not only to children but also to us as adults. They all dance around the identity. And the question is, who are you? Ask your children, who are you? What identity do you have? Let them find 1, 2, 3, maximum 5 words to describe themselves. And these have to be the aspirational identity that they want to aim for. And once they are clear about that identity, your duty is to reflect that identity to them every time they live that identity. What did I say to my son? I have always, this is how I've always been observing you, seeing you, noticing in you. متميزا ومتفوقا, exceptional and always successful. So now he's got two identities. I am exceptional, I'm always successful. I am exceptional, I'm always successful. During this weekend we had a gathering with our schoolmates. And now we are all old people, we have children, we gather them, they are with us, etc. And then I asked for those boys, it was all boys, between the age of 9 to the age of 15 to come closer to me. And all I did to them, within 5 minutes, they were so energized. Anything I did to them, anything I said to them, they would say, yes, we want to be with you. There was no magic behind it. Because parents said, can you give them, can you tell them how to behave, can you do this? Please give them, and give them a good dose. So I said, okay, leave it to me. So when they gathered, I said, look, your age between 9 and 15, what does that mean? He said, what do you mean? I said, are you now, do I call you boys, or do I consider you as adults? What do you think they say? Adults. They are adults. I said, wow, yes, you are adults. Identity number 1, they are adults. I said, now, tell me the difference between a child, between a boy and adults. Tell me 3 things boys do. They say, they are troublemakers. They don't listen. They are disrespectful. They are this. I said, oh, boys now, this is what they do. I said, okay, give me 3 qualities adults have. They are responsible. They make good decisions. And they are always respectable. I said, now, do you want in this trip to be irresponsible, disrespectful, troublemakers? They said, no, we want to be this. I said, okay. There is one thing that is a difference between a child and an adult. Eventually, I cajole them to say, adults are responsible, they make responsibility, they realize their responsibility, and children are irresponsible, they are carefree because they are dependent. I said, now, if you agree on the word responsibility, let me suggest with you that adults are responsible, you specifically at your age, you have to be responsible with 3 things. You want to be successful? They say, yes. You want to be at the top? They say, yes. You want to be champion? They say, yes. Do you want your parents to be proud of you? They say, yes. I said, look, be responsible with 3 things. Number 1, your relationship with Allah is your responsibility. Don't wait for parents to remind you about praying. You are responsible. Because you are worshipping Allah, you're not worshipping your parents. Now tell me something you will do to tell me that you are responsible in your relationship with Allah. And then I asked another question. They said, well, I have to pray on time. I said, wonderful, what else? I have to make sure I don't miss a prayer. I said, wonderful, what else? I have to make sure that I recite the Quran every now and then. I said, wonderful, what else? And they kept on mentioning, I said, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And someone was writing there. I said, now, second thing you have to be responsible is in your studies. Because when you study, it is you who is benefiting, not your parents. Would you agree? They said, yes. I said, now, tell me 3 things for you that you can do to demonstrate to me that you are a responsible adult in your studies. Without failure, they mentioned about 20 things. From studying hard, from paying attention to the class, from participating in the class, from doing their homework, from looking after their bags, from preparing for the exams. And they kept on mentioning many things. I said, wonderful. I'm really proud of you. Because you seem to know what is right, you can make the right decisions. Number 3. If you want to be successful as an adult, your manners will speak louder than anything else. With manners, your behavior, your attitude, your habits. Tell me 3 things a responsible adult has in the form of manners, in the form of attitude, in the form of behavior, in the form of habits that truly makes him or her successful. They talked about respect, they talked about appreciating others, they talked about looking after the environment, being good listeners, and being responsible, mentioning many things. I said, now, let us repeat it one more time. Are you children or are you adults? I said, we are adults. What is the difference between a child and an adult? A child is irresponsible, and an adult is responsible. Are you responsible? They say, yes. Are you responsible in what? They say, in our relationship with Allah. Give me something that makes you responsible with Allah. Prayers, fantastic. Second, are you responsible for what? For our studies. And by the time we finished, they were so energized. The next day, I asked them the same question, and they were all able to answer it. I said, now, I'm going to reward you. With that reward, a promise that you're going to keep that personality. You're going to keep that identity, because I have a lot of respect for you. And everybody will give them a token of reward. Thereafter, I didn't have to search for them. They were searching for me. So there's no magic behind it, my dear brothers and sisters. Key thing with children, key thing with adults, key thing with teenagers is to appreciate people and to give them the deserved respect and value. If you can do that, you are starting to appreciate people, you are starting to win people. Once you respect those people, you show their appreciation, and you show that you value them, thereafter they say, you understand me, you know me very well, you are my friend, you and me are together. Then you win their trust. Once you win their trust, you can mold them in any way you like. I think with that is a good start to begin. Would you agree? Yeah. Do not begin with the behavior. Let me tell you the difficulties we have. When you go back home tonight and you see something wrong, you receive a report from school, or you receive a report from someone at home that your children have not been behaving, they have not been doing this, they've been doing that. Do not begin to counsel them. Do not begin to tell them off. Do not focus on behavior. Before you focus on the behavior, focus on the identity. When you focus on the identity, ensure you elevate, you raise their self-esteem, touch their emotion, make them feel proud of themselves, make them feel that they are a valuable individual in society. Play with the emotions. Once you do that, keep it there. As a person, keep it there. Behavior, attack. But a person, always elevate the person. Once you've done that, the behavior will take care of itself. When the why is big enough, the how will take care of itself. When they realize why they are valued at home, when they realize why they are responsible, when they realize why they are already being seen as adults, when they see why they can make the right decisions, then they will do the behavior, the how, they will lead themselves in the right way. The final message I have is this. In this phase, your children, as much as you as a parent become concerned. Throughout the time, tell your children your expectation of them is only the best. Even if they do something wrong, forgive them on the spot and tell them, I understand it's a mistake, but I expect the best out of you and I know you can do it. Do not dwell on the mistake. Do not remind them of previous mistakes. Do not hurt them more or make them feel guilty beyond what they deserve. Let them learn from mistake and immediately elevate the self-esteem and tell them, you are the best and I'm proud of you. The one thing that kills children is for you to tell them, I don't love you. Ma ahabbak. Ma ahabbak. It's better that you take a knife and you stab your child rather than say to that child, I don't like you, I don't love you. Some parents will say, I hate you. Because emotions are very powerful. And then you use that as emotional blackmail. Every time they don't behave, they don't listen to you, you tell them, I don't like you, I don't love you, to coerce them to cooperate with you. That is emotional blackmail is very powerful. Never, ever say to your child, I don't love you. Irrespective of what they do, keep on reminding them that they are the best gift to you. Whatever they do, they will be part of you. The more you hammer that message, the more you demonstrate your love, the more you respect them, the more you value them, I can guarantee you, you're going to bear the fruits of success, of happiness and tranquility. I've learned these tricks. I've been blessed with 5 boys. Imagine having 5 boys in one house. With a father who is rarely at home because he's always there for the society. And at home, they don't fight, they don't quarrel, they don't step on each other's toes. And sometimes you go there, yes, sometimes they make a lot of noise, out of fun, but you don't see them using bad language or fighting, black eyes and breaking doors and other stuff. Simply because at home, we only have 3 principles. Relationship between individual and Allah is individual responsibility. Studying is individual responsibility. Good manners, respect comes as a priority. We have to respect each other. Mutual respect is a priority. Everybody subscribe to that. Everybody feel they're important. Everybody feel they're responsible. Thereafter, let them loose. Empower them. Make them make their own decisions and bear the consequences of their decisions. Now we open the floor for some question and answers, if you have any, maybe for 15 minutes. We have one at the back. Follow up with this.
It's more suggestion than anything else. Can you have this session in Arabic, please, for wives and sisters?
Yeah. The answer that I've given lectures and Friday prayers, Friday speeches on this subject is available on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. But inshallah, we can have another session in Arabic.
Maybe we can record it.
And it's being recorded.
Yeah.
And then my best suggestion is that you now as parents, it's being recorded. If you want a copy, contact the organizers. And I think it's going to be uploaded on YouTube. So please take the time to translate it to your families. But inshallah. We have a question here in the front. There's a question here. Muhammad? No, Muhammad. 3rd row, 4th row. Ladies, prepare your questions as well.
Thank you, Sheikh Alfa, for the lecture today. But I think does not only apply to children, teenagers, but it also applies to the husband and wives. If we start doing with our wives the same thing, the children automatically will pick it up.
Absolutely.
Or the other way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. We talk specifically about children because a lot of parents complain about that. We can have another session to talk about husbands and wives. His and hers. We have a question there. There is a surah. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Microphone. Davanti al microfono c'è nessuno.